This is Susan Bassey, and on a Sunday morning in Campbell, California, I had an opportunity to run across these police officers conducting a vehicle search. And I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to talk about transparency and what we expect from our public and our elected officials. I am mindful that as a 57-year-old white woman, I am able to record and communicate with the police in a way that many other cop watchers and journalists are unable. I appreciate police officers who assist me with information, and I appreciate police officers who don't obstruct me doing my job as I try not to obstruct them doing theirs. I watched these police officers engage in a search with a canine unit where they found a gun, and they went about their work and did their job according to their training and experience, just as I was going to do mine. But I don't always just record the police. Sometimes I record public officials who don't carry a badge and a gun.
Are you old enough to know what a grassy knoll means?
Oh, yes, I am.
I also appreciate police officers who provide me information that helps me better understand the culture, not only of their department, but of how they behave behind the scenes when there are no cameras, and how they treat their families, their friends, their wives, their husbands, and their children.
You guys do it yourselves?
Yeah.
What's his name? Lucas?
And just as canine units don't carry guns and badges, neither do other public officials that we have a right to watch and see how they go about doing their job.
Mr. Borski, would you like to talk to me about the time that you called in on a radio show when Jeff Rosen was running for district attorney and tried to disguise your voice and pretend that you were a supporter of his?
Have we met?
No, would you like to meet?
Are you the infamous Susan Bassey?
I am Susan Bassey.
We've never met before.
No, we haven't. I have followed your career, though.
Thank you. No, I don't really want to speak to you.
You don't?
No.
Is there a reason for that? Would you support your boss even if you knew he was engaging in prosecutorial misconduct? Mr. Borski, would you support your boss if you knew he was engaging in prosecutorial misconduct?
Prosecutors are government attorneys who prosecute crime in a community. They are managed and supervised by a duly elected district attorney who sets the culture in the office. And if that culture is about lying, cheating, or engaging in misconduct, it wastes public funds, it deprives defendants of due process, and it fails crime victims.
I've been campaigning on the topic of helping thousands and thousands of victims, and it's something to be proud of if it's true statistics. Now, it's a fact that since you have taken state victim compensation, the benefits have declined every single year to about 50% less files for state victim compensation, about 149% in benefits to victim compensation, when actually the budget has tripled. So I want a commitment.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Would you give us a commitment to release the statistics of state victim compensation since you have taken the program over? I've shared that with your...
Do you want to share with everybody everything else about you, or do you just want to ask a question about victim services?
Well, it's about only victim services, because that's something,
Yes.
State victim compensation, I care about very much.
The district attorney is also responsible for how our criminal justice system deals with mental health issues.
Jay, I just got a comment from Bambi Larson's family, and have we done anything on the Bambi Larson case since your last press conference when you didn't want to talk to me? Mr. Borski, want to talk to me about Bambi Larson now? Any prosecutors here want to talk to me about the Bambi Larson case? The family would like some answers. Anybody? Anybody have a comment?
Yeah.
Jay, you have a comment? You've been supporting your boss for 10 years. You've made quite a lot of money.
Jay Borski is one of over 600 government attorneys and staffers in the Santa Clara County District Attorney's Office. For the last 3 years, he has worked largely from home, as have his colleagues. They've taken a lot of vacations. They've been given benefits and bonuses when the courthouses were closed, and that was all paid at taxpayer expense. And if you're old enough to know what a grassy knoll is, you're probably old enough to remember a day when police officers actually investigated crimes, and prosecutors prosecuted those crimes, and they did so in a very public and visible manner.
Hi. What's your name and badge number?
Sure, my name's Officer Frizzell. Badge number is 103.
You did an excellent job, because when she complained about my recording, you explained that I had a right
You're in
to
public,
do that.
so
you know what?
wanna
That's
know.
some progress. So
Do you want any information about what we're doing?
Sure.
So we had a report of a stolen car.
Uh-huh.
Stopped the car. Obviously, that was the person driving it. Through our investigation, we kind of figured out that she bought it from somebody, and we're still figuring out who actually stole it. So, anyway,
Excellent.
It's going to get released to the owner, and we're going to keep investigating.
For years, we have watched police officers shove cameras away from their work when they were using their discretion to conduct an investigation. And that's very much what prosecutors do when they shut us out of the investigative process and they don't provide transparency for how they're doing their job when it comes to prosecuting crimes in a community, whether it's crimes involving a stolen vehicle or white-collar and public corruption crimes that arise from the district attorney's office or other public entities.
can TikTok a little better.
That's the new trend these days.
Yeah. TikTok, I can tell it in 3 minutes or less.
Followers, yep.
Officer, what is your name and badge number?
Officer Kurz, number 105, ma'am.
Thank you. I appreciate both of you. Mostly, I appreciate you telling them I have a right to record in public,
Of course.
because that's important
Thank
information.
you for keeping your distance and letting us do our thing.
And you know what? People should know. If you buy stolen property, you're going to lose it.
Yep.
And that's
Check
how
all
that
your
works.
documents before you buy anything, so you know it's not.
That's right. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks.
And in Silicon Valley, investigations don't always look like we see on the streets. It doesn't always involve a stolen vehicle, retail crime, or a purse theft, because in Silicon Valley, the crimes are far more sophisticated. They happen behind closed doors and in private companies, such as the crime that involved eBay and their private security, when they decided to harass some publishers who were publishing information that they weren't very fond of. And while Jeff Rosen, the Santa Clara County District Attorney, had jurisdiction to prosecute those crimes, he didn't, because he rarely prosecutes white-collar crimes and public corruption, because most of the time those crimes arise from the people who support him and keep him in office, including the individuals who he manages and supervises in the District Attorney's office.
Money. I have all your cryptocurrency accounts, by the way. And when Mr. Rosen said that you guys were working hard, I actually have your...
This is Aaliyah Kianerchi, one of the top prosecutors in the DA's office that Jeff Rosen appointed to the Brock Turner case back in 2015, a case that brought widespread media attention where Miss Kianerchi was always willing to turn and answer the press when she could control the narrative. And in that case, there was a conviction because the media was watching and the media was believing what these prosecutors said. But in 2019, we got a number of emails that showed that what they told the media and the public wasn't exactly what happened. And these prosecutors misused public funds, which was captured in over 500 emails. And those funds were used to get a judge recalled and one of the prosecutors appointed to the bench.
Like now starting to kiss her and say hello. It's really cute.
Well, he's a baby too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like...
The emails we obtained suggest that Ms. Kianerchi cheated in order to get the conviction of Brock Turner, which led to the recall of Judge Aaron Persky. And when those emails were read, it was clear that the process of convicting Brock Turner and recalling Judge Persky was the actual crime, not the crime that the public was led to believe.
So if you're a DA prosecutor in Santa Clara, you just don't need to worry about the public, I guess.
Which is funny how cute.
Also contained in the emails were hundreds of photographs taken by Michele Dauber, Jennifer Higgins Bradanini, and other volunteers of the Persky recall movement. During that same time, I took this photograph of a journalist inside the courthouse, and I also recorded the police officer who broke my finger in that same courthouse. And for those 2 photographs, I was prosecuted for over 4 years by the Santa Clara County District Attorney. And that's what a political prosecution looks like. And that's why every time Mr. Rosen goes to a public forum, he asks for a police escort or has taxpayers pay for his private security.
We can chat a little maybe about those emails during the Brock Turner case.
Yeah, we're over here.
Should we talk about that, or we're going to just use public resources?
I can have a private conversation. So
You're in a public space, Mr. Rosen. You should know there are no private conversations in a public space.
And as outrageous as Mr. Rosen's prosecutions and failed prosecutions have been, the fact that he doesn't know about the recording in public laws is perhaps the most outrageous.
what'd you say?
I just said he's direct.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Are you Mrs. Rosen? Jeff, I'd really like to talk about those emails I got through a public records request in 2019. There were 573 emails between you and your prosecutors and Michele Dauber, who was illegally taking photographs in the courthouse, which didn't seem to bother you at all. It didn't bother you at all. And tonight you just basically said you kept laptops after the county asked you to return them. And you said that may be stealing. That didn't bother you? It doesn't bother you to steal public resources? You're a public official, Mr. Rosen, and I get to ask questions all day long. That's my job, and I know how to do it very well. Do you want to talk about the emails that I got in 2019? Do you want to talk about that? And the sheriff is escorting you because you were the one that kicked Daniel Chung at the last debate.
You know what? We walked across. You know what I mean?
in the garage.
We are in the garage, but I know that we've crossed we're a little turned around.
Okay.
I feel like it was that, like when you drive in, you
Yep.
know, it was that floor, right?
Yep.
Where's the first floor?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
let's go there. Sorry. Let's
Okay.
go there.
You all have a good night. I came too soon, huh? You should have told them all I had for dinner was Jelly Bellies. I'm pumped up on sugar.
I'll let them know.
Well, Mr. Rosen, you know I don't care for you much, but I gotta say you had some courage today. After writing that email to Mr. Shum about having tea with the Asians, that was very brave that you showed up without your prosecutors in tow. And you haven't done anything at all about private judging. And you are friends with these people, and you know Catherine Gallagher is doing the worst harm in this community with private judging in secret. And what you and Jim Towery did to Judge Persky is shameful. You got him recalled to get Cindy Hendrickson on the bench. I have the emails, 573 of them, Mr. Rosen. And you think that keeping the public safe is what you're doing? You lied to the court, Mr. Rosen. You omitted the material fact that I'm a journalist. You lied to the court. That's Business and Professions Code 6128. It's a misdemeanor. You have committed a crime. Your wife let you drive the car today? Very brave of you to come without your wife today, or police escort, Mr. Rosen. Very, very brave. There he goes, this time having to drive himself. There goes the Santa Clara County District Attorney, Jeff Rosen.